Part 5 Description: The Bridge. Part 5, The Bridge. 2 decades after the crash that changed everything, America is still imperfect. But it is no longer the same country. Worker-owned businesses thrive in communities once devastated by unemployment. Families live in permanently affordable homes. Public banks serve neighborhoods abandoned by Wall Street. Courts are more accessible, elections are harder to buy, and ordinary citizens have greater power over the institutions that shape their lives. Elias Vance has stepped away from the center of the movement he began. His daughter Lena has become a civil rights attorney. His son Micah has become an independent journalist. His former enemies, friends, workers, and family members all carry pieces of the long struggle forward. When Elias returns to the first hardware store he saved, he realizes that his greatest achievement was never his fortune. It was helping people understand that they were not disposable, powerless, or alone. The Bridge is a hopeful final chapter about reconciliation, shared ownership, family, and the unfinished work of democracy. It asks one enduring question: will wealth become a wall separating people, or a bridge that helps everyone cross together? Chapter 9, The Vote. The constitutional amendment took 11 years. It did not pass because Elias Vance gave a speech. It did not pass because a billionaire had a change of heart. It passed because thousands of people in thousands of places kept organizing after cameras left. They held meetings in libraries, churches, mosques, schools, union halls, and kitchen tables. They registered voters. They trained legal observers. They challenged corruption. They argued with relatives. They lost elections and returned the next year. Lena became a civil rights attorney. Micah became a journalist, though he refused to work for any media company that accepted money from the Vance family. This made Elias proud, even when it made him the subject of uncomfortable reporting. Daniel disappeared from public life after the American Prosperity Council was exposed for coordinating secret donor networks and illegal campaign influence. Years later, he returned quietly, not to apologize in public, but to ask whether he could speak with Elias. They met at their mother's old house. Daniel's hair had gone gray at the temples. He looked older than Elias remembered. "I was wrong," Daniel said. Elias did not make it easy for him. "About what?" Daniel swallowed. "About you. About them. About why I was angry." Elias sat across from him in the living room where they had grown up, fighting over the television remote and dreaming of lives larger than their town. "You hurt people," Elias said. "I know. You hurt me. I know." For a long time, neither man moved. Then Daniel said, "I do not know how to make it right." Elias thought of every person who had asked that question after losing a job, a home, a relationship, or a piece of themselves. "You start by helping," he said. Daniel did. He began working with a debt relief nonprofit, using the skills he once used for political consulting to explain complicated financial systems to ordinary people. He was never celebrated. He never asked to be. That became part of his repair. Chapter 10, The Thing They Built. 20 years after the crash, Don Alvarez Hardware held its anniversary celebration. The store had become a community marketplace, a tool library, a repair school, a credit union branch, and a meeting space. Above it stood affordable apartments protected by a community land trust. The old sign remained mounted inside, crooked and weathered, because Don insisted people should remember where they began. Don had died 3 years earlier. At his request, the store had not been named after him. Instead, a small plaque near the entrance carried his favorite sentence: "A good job should leave more behind than tired feet." Elias arrived with Naomi, Lena, Micah, Daniel, Mara, and dozens of others who had once been strangers but had become family through work, struggle, and shared purpose. Mara was now chair of the Common Ground Trust, elected by its workers, members, and community partners. She had grown more patient with age, though not much. "You are late," she told Elias. "I am retired," he said. "You are 3 minutes retired." Lena laughed. Micah took a photograph, then lowered his camera. "Dad," he said, "Do you remember when you told me you did not want to be remembered?" Elias looked around the courtyard. People talked beside market stalls. Apprentices showed children how to use hand tools safely. A nurse explained a local healthcare cooperative. A group of workers prepared to vote on a proposed expansion. "I remember." "I think you were wrong," Micah said. "People should remember what happened." Elias nodded slowly. "Then they should remember all of it. The crash. The fear. The mistakes. The people we could not save. And the fact that no one person built this." A young woman approached him with a notebook. She was a student reporter from the local community college. "Mr. Vance," she said nervously, "can I ask you one question?" "Of course." "You were called a fool when you warned everyone. Then you became a billionaire when the market fell. If you could go back, would you do it all again?" Elias looked toward the old hardware store. He remembered Don's hands shaking over the purchase agreement. He remembered Lena asking whether a good person could become rich from other people's pain. He remembered Naomi closing his laptop. He remembered Daniel's betrayal. He remembered the crowds, the threats, the defeats, and the slow victories that came only because people refused to give up. "I would warn them louder," he said. The student waited. "And after the crash? I would share power sooner." She wrote that down. As the afternoon light broke through the clouds, Elias watched people fill the courtyard. They were not perfect. Their country was not perfect. Wealth still had to be challenged. Laws still needed defending. Power still had to be watched, questioned, and distributed. But the old rules had changed. Workers owned companies. Families had homes they could not be priced out of. Courts were more accessible. Elections were less easily bought. Communities had banks, newspapers, clinics, schools, and businesses that belonged, in meaningful ways, to the people living there. Elias had once made his fortune by seeing a collapse no one else wanted to believe in. His true work began when he decided that collapse would not be the end of the story. Naomi slipped her hand into his. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. Elias watched a little boy carry a toolbox across the courtyard while his mother smiled nearby. "That a bridge is never finished," he said. Then, with the people around him, he kept building. About the author, Michael Anthony Neal Jr. is a devoted writer dedicated to his craft and putting out the best body of work. He's an artist and a business owner who enjoy being able to create and run his business. Owner of Thrilla Productions and Hoodie by Design. About the publisher, Thrilla Productions established in 2013 and been evolving the service provided. When opening, Thrilla Productions only worked on just production across different industries, but grew to evolve and included a promoting department in 2016, helping the company help their talented artists and creators by not only working on the production of their work but getting them more exposure with their promoting team. Early 2020, Thrilla Productions merged with Hyperspace Out the Box Entertainment and again added new ways to help their clients gain more traction by including a publishing department and invested in a marketing department, giving all artists signed under the Thrilla Productions umbrella. This includes writers, content creators, musician, actors, tattoo artists, and hand-drawing artists. Giving them more control over their career paths while having their vision of their creative artwork intact, keeping the integrity of their work.